Almost finished, y'all. I'm tagging some people and then we're going to get started. Okay. Everybody that's on the panel right now, Dustin, Tammy, Ernesto, Tony, and Brandy, I tagged you all. You can share it. If you're from the first panel, do me a favor. Y'all know where my page at. Go to my page and reshare it and tag yourself. So listen, welcome to the dialogue. I'm so glad that you all are tuning in. This is the dialogue part 2. And today I have with me some very, very amazing people. We're going to try to keep this under an hour to 15 minutes at the max, and then we're going to end it. So we're going to address a lot. You're going to hear from every angle. I am so excited that I got 3 men on this dialogue with me. And then I have 2 amazing women, including myself. And then we also have a rotating team out, and people from the first panelists from the first dialogue that will be chiming in. So I'm not going to do it long. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce. So at the top, you'll see, if you wave your hand, we have Dustin. Dustin, I'm calling him the artist. He he does artwork, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Dustin is from Michigan, born in Michigan, moved to Sunnyvale, California for a while. He had a bad childhood growing up with his mom, the mom's boyfriend, who was abusive, and an alcoholic. We have something in common that I hadn't mentioned to you yet, but you pretty much raised yourself in aspects I pretty much raised myself. Yeah. So he has a college associates and a business degree, and he currently lives in Arizona right now. Yep. Then we have Miss Tammy over here. She is the writer. She is married, homeschooling mother of 3 from Memphis, Tennessee, and she writes her way through life. Something people don't know about it is that she had her own Ruby Bridges experience. She attended a school that she couldn't attend in the 80s because of the color of her skin, but then graduated from that school as valedictorian. I don't never say it right, so I apologize. And the second Black and the second youngest to graduate in history from that school that she was not welcomed at in the 80s. So kudos to you, Brandy. To you, Tammy. Then we have Brandy. Wave your hand, Brandy. Brandy is actually on vacation right now. You should be here vacation. She is the founder of Operations Came Together nonprofit emergency corporation. She is the mother of 3 beautiful children and the grandmother of 3. She has a rainbow family. Her family looks similar to mine. And she has 7 siblings and 5 of them adopted. So she knows what it is to live in a multicultural environment. Then down at the bottom in the middle, we have Tony Johnson, who is my brother. I call him the entrepreneur. And let me piggyback. Brandy is the advocate. I named her the advocate. She's the advocator. Tony is the entrepreneur. He's a husband, a father, a producer, a photographer, a minister, and a founder of Impact Worship. He a whole lot of things, y'all. But he a real cool dude. Don't say a whole lot, but when he do say a whole lot, it's a whole lot. Then we have Mr. Ernesto down at the bottom, right up under me. Mr. Ernesto is living in Philadelphia. His roots are from Panama. Um, he comes from a restaurant background, and he's been in the industry for 18 years. And he's also currently part of You Should Be Here, the travel club. And he's an ambassador for the company. His motto is, I want to live life and don't want life to live me, which is a good motto to go by. So also we'll have Just a Bowie from the first one coming on, Gabby Bell from the first one. She hadn't popped in yet, but she may be in the chat. And then we have Karen for the first dialogue and Janicia Morton. So that's our panelists. So now that I've introduced everybody, let's go into a word of prayer again. You can bow your head, you don't have to, whatever. It doesn't matter. But Father God, we thank you on today. We give you grace, we give you honor, God. I ask you to cover each and every one of these speakers on tonight, God. There may be some attacks that come up against them, God, but we know that you will send them back to the sender, God. People may not like what we see, God, but we just ask that you give us a peace and a sound mind to be able to speak the truth, Father God, and open the dialogue that's very uncomfortable in a nation where people don't want to come together and talk, Father God. We thank you for allowing us to be here today and for this opportunity to build bridges that won't collapse, Father God, because we all bleed the same blood. In Jesus' name I pray, amen, amen, amen. So listen, this is how I'm going to do this today. I'm going to drop some statements to you. So since the last dialogue, I'm going to give you a little bit of what has transpired in the United States. All officers have been charged in the Floyd case, waiting on the rest of it. However, Rayshard Brooks was killed for sleeping in a drive-thru at Wendy's and failing a sobriety test. Black men are being found dead by hanging, which were being quickly ruled by suicide. Now there's an investigation, and it's really upsetting Black people. Mr. President decides he wants to have a rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the largest massacre, which was called Black Wall Street, took place. Then, once there was an uproar, he canceled it, but a few days later said he had never heard of Juneteenth. Baffles me, but okay. Then we have a white pastor in Atlanta who says that we should do away with saying white privilege and we should call it white blessings. Then we got Starbucks, who tells its employees not to wear any Black Lives Matter attire, and then backpedals and say you can wear it. Then let's not even get started. I don't know how it's going because we all over the United States right now. But I know in my local area, every time something comes on my news feed from the news channel, the comment sections are brutal. We have so many people coming for people, like it's amazing to me. Not only that, we have Miss Candace Owens. Can everybody show me a hand if they know who Candace Owens is? Nobody knows who she is. You do. Miss Tammy, you know who Candace Owens is?
I've heard the situation.
Okay, so yeah. We have Miss Candace Owens, who has been invited to the White House to speak on race relations. And she's a very interesting person. So if you don't know who she is, I ask that you research her. And I'm gonna leave that one at that. Now, what's good that's come out of that? Because I just gave you a whole load of like negative stuff. So what's good has come out of the movement, movement. We are talking, we are dialoguing now. We are trying to make a difference. We are trying to make changes. Black Lives Matter, end racism now. have been painted on streets across the country. Funding is now being funneled into to improve impoverished neighborhoods, especially in my area. They're working to improve some stuff. I don't know if it's happening for everybody else. And there's talks of police reform, which is going to be one of those things that really helps if we can really follow through with it. And then there are several big companies who have made Juneteenth, which is the day, so happy Juneteenth to everybody, a paid holiday. And now the Democratic Party has asked that we actually, I'll wait till you come on, has asked that we actually make it a federal holiday. So my kudu, I'm hoping that happens. And for all of you who don't know what Juneteenth is, I'm actually gonna ask Miss Brandy to explain it, because she was the one who dropped it in our message.
Yes. Juneteenth is the day that the slaves were actually officially called free.
Pour that all the way to the right.
Actually, give me 1 second. I'm walking up away from people. I actually had this written down. No. It's celebrated because of 1865, the date which Major General Gordon Granger and the Union troops reached Galveston, Texas, with the news of the Civil War ended, taking place 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, and actually represented the end of the slavery in the United States.
So we know what Juneteenth is now. Thank you so much, Brandy. So listen, I got a question for the panel. I said a whole lot. And I would like to know from each one of my panelists, how do you view racism? Racism today, in the past, what we're going through now. We'll start with you, Dustin.
Oh, snap. Okay. Well, so just to reiterate, just ask the questions. How have we and how are we dealing with racism? Yeah. Is that what you're asking?
How are you dealing with it?
I don't want to come off negative, but I'm not. I mean, I treat everybody the way I want to be treated. And I got to take it back to when I was a kid in Michigan. I was bullied for being one of 2 Caucasian kids in an all-black school. Now, that's not making me say I don't like black people. I like every color of the rainbow. But as a kid, it's kind of dramatizing, because I would sit there and go, what did I do? What did I do to get beat up, made fun of? And, my mom, working at 7-Eleven at the time, we lived in Detroit. I mean, it was the center, and she couldn't answer it. But again, and being in an abusive lifestyle, I just had to grow myself up and know what I wanted. But everything that happened to me, I just kept an open mind. Now, 2 weeks ago, I was in Walmart and I ran into I was in the meat section. I was going to do ribs and everything. And this African-American gentleman comes up and he goes, "You didn't take all the ribs, did you?" And I just kind of looked at him and I smiled and I said, "No, man, there's some more. I'm just deciding which ones have corona and which ones don't. I don't want to get sick." And then, so he goes, "Well, what are you doing? Are you barbecuing?" And I go, yeah, here's my recipe on the phone. This is what I got to get. And he goes, Can I take a picture of it? And I go, "You can take credit for it. I don't care." He goes, "I'm not going to take credit for it." But we had a half an hour where he was talking about his wife and how his wife is, I think she was Asian. And it was a nice conversation. We didn't bring anything about Floyd. We didn't bring up about anything. We just sat there. And in the end, after 30 minutes, we just shook hands and wished each other 4th of July. So I just keep an open mind. The people who I don't like are people with bad hearts. So, if you're going to sit there and bully people, I'm just going to walk away, because I don't have time for toxic people, to be honest. That's where I stand.
Miss Tammy?
I am kind of like Dustin in a way. However, I will let you know that you're wrong.
Okay.
You know, I grew up opposite of of Dustin. I was one of two Black children in a predominantly white school, and the other one was my
Oh,
brother.
wow. Okay.
And I spend a lot of my time with conversations, letting people who went to school with me know that I was being bullied. People were talking about me. People didn't like me until I was in the 9th grade, and things like that. And they're all like, I'm so sorry. I was not paying attention. And what was funny to me, not funny really, but whenever somebody talks about Ruby Bridges, I think about August of 1993. My brothers were not allowed to enroll in that school in the 80s. But when we walked in that door in August of 1993, they knew exactly who we were. Except for me, because I wasn't born yet. My brothers are 5 and 6 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't let their stereotypes bother me. And my ultimate day was May 3rd, 1998. 16 years old. Valedictorian. I'll never forget it. My school sat on 96 acres in the middle of who knows what Mississippi. And I turned my tassel. I held my diploma up in the air. I said, Mama, I did it. And I walked right out the back door. Sure did. But today, I get along with people that I never got along with back then because they realized that a lot of the people that were around us were stupid. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Ernesto?
Yeah, I mean, I never really had, like, I had, let me just say, growing up, I had a mixed school. It was white, black, Latin, whatever. It was a melting pot. I live in a big city in Philadelphia, so we had all races. So I never seen it. I mean, there was times where I will go to a store and then they would like follow me. I thought that was kind of weird. I'm like, I don't understand. I was younger at the time, so I didn't know any better. And it's kind of crazy. I just found out that one of my good friends from grade school, who's black, he was saying that, and our principals were white. Somebody called him the N-word. I didn't notice. I just found this out, and I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, and I was wrong for it, and I punched him. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, what happened? He was like, they wanted to suspend me. So his mom came up to school and everything like that. And, she was like, well, his mom was like, what happened? Explaining the same story. She's like, so why is my son getting suspended? And she's like, well, he hit him. And that was it. She's like, I don't feel that's right. I don't really know whatever happened like about it after that. We like kind of were in a discussion and it just stopped. But I told him I was sorry to hear that. Like, I was like, I had no idea that even happened because we weren't in the same class. So, but it was I just never dealt with that. Like, we all, breathe the same blood. We all breathe the same air. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. Like, I don't look at like that, and I'm glad, my daughter, that we raised her right. Like, she went out to the marches and she just is like, saying, that like how that's not right, how people are, treated, different color. And then one thing I'll say is like, like I've dealt with it time on occasion, just going into places, but I still would never treat anybody differently unless you disrespect me or disrespect my family. Like, I'm all about positive vibes. I'm all about positive vibes and love. Like, I just don't look at it like that. And, coming from the company, and Brandy knows this, coming from, the background of company that we're in, we don't look at color. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, anybody could win. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter where you were in the past. Your past will never determine your future. So I don't look at anybody, even if they came up from a bad past. I'm still not going to judge you, because anybody can change. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Brandy.
Well, I grew up in foster care from the time I was 3 years old to the time I was 12. I was adopted. So race, I never saw it because it was more, I was made fun of because I was adopted and I was in foster care. But race wasn't a thing because I grew up around and was in foster care in different households. And my house is like NATO, literally. We are all different races, and then my brother and sister on my parents' actual biological children, they actually married Koreans. So our families are whole different races, whole different types. So race isn't a part of my life, has never been a part of my life, and I never encountered it until now. I was actually called a basic white American a couple days ago, in that I don't understand bullying because I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, is what I was told, just because my dad is a doctor, which is untrue. And that just shows you that nobody knows someone's background. And I believe that if we take time to get to know people, the reason why people are the way and the hatred and the evil is because they're hurting themselves. They're hurting inside. And like Ernesto said with World Ventures, we have learned so much self-development, and we have so much love for other people. It doesn't matter the background. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. And everybody knows I wear rainbow all the time. Even my wedding was rainbow. I don't even care if you're gay, lesbian, straight, black, white, green, purple. I don't care. I'll still come up to you and talk to you. And everyone who knows me knows I'll talk to a fly if it could talk back to me. But I opened Operation Come Together because I believe during this pandemic, I believe that we need to come together. And that's what I am doing now in my own community. And racism is a real thing. I believe in Black Lives Matter. I believe in the Bible, and I think it's Matthew, where Jesus goes and finds that one lost sheep, even though that he left the 99 behind. That's where I see Black Lives Matter. It's not all lives matter, because we have worried about all lives. If that was the case, then we would as a country worried about all lives. But no, we have not worried about all lives. And you said something about white privilege. There is a white privilege. And I didn't grow up with that, but I see it as an adult. Especially in our government and in our judicial system. Especially in the South. I live in the South, and I don't know if it's because I'm biased because of my family or the way I was raised, but I do see a need of changing. I'm not really political, so I don't really know much about Democrats and Republicans, but I do know that we need more of Black Lives Matter, and I understand it more as a white woman. I understand it, and I do stand for Black Lives Matter. I don't agree on what Starbucks did. I don't believe in backpedaling either. I never believe in backpedaling. I feel like that's a lie covering up a lie. But that's my 2 cents.
Okay. So I'm pretty much, Tony's having some tech issues. So I'm pretty much hearing that a lot. Am I hearing correct that a lot of you haven't actually like experienced racism until like recently, like really seen it for what it is, like in the forefront?
Right.
Because
No,
that's
saw
right
it.
for you.
Yeah.
That's for you, Ernesto, too. Like when
Yeah,
you walk,
yeah, like recently, yeah. I mean, definitely. You know, and just to one comment I want to make just real quick that, you know, a lot of people, just my opinion, and I like seen it, so I'm just piggybacking off this, but you know, Black Lives Matter, right? So yeah, that's a statement, you know, and the thing is, they didn't say like only Black Lives Matter, like they're not saying that. They're trying to make a point. We know all lives matter, but it's just like, you know, there's something broken there, and that's the reason why we're trying to get that point out, and people are missing that point. Like, and that's what they're saying. Like I said, I'll repeat it again. Black Lives Matter. They're not saying only Black Lives Matter. Yes, all lives do matter. They're not saying that either, like all lives don't matter and don't like, and that's like the thing that people are misunderstanding. And I, you know, now it's you know, you've seen, I mean, just recently you've seen it just more, and so there's something needs to be corrected, and that's, you know, and you just, you can see it, you it's out there, you know. It's so it's honestly just mind-boggling to me though. And you know, I just it's just I don't it's just frustrating too. But you know, something's got to change, and I feel like I live in Philadelphia, so Carson Wentz, a lot of people, because you know he's white, so a lot of people said there needs to be more people, all races, stepping up to help this movement. Because if we're going to do it together, it has to be a united front. Like it can't be, and everybody respected him, and he came out right away, and it just caused a ripple effect. You know, and not saying, you know, if he didn't say something, not saying nobody else would have, but he was like, you know what, I'm just going to do this, and you could tell it was like from the heart. So we need a united front, and we are the United States of America. We need to be United States of America, being the divided states of America. So, you know, I just wanted to add that point in. Sorry,
no, it's good. It's good. It's good. Because it's completely different from the first dialogue. Like we had all like literally experienced what racism was, not just now, but also in our past. And one of the things that I was having a conversation with one of my Facebook friends who was sweet lady. She's very sweet and she's white, but she was defending white people. She felt like they were being attacked, and she was upset. But you can tell in people's language by just reading what they put over time if they're sincere, if it's coming from a place of hate, or if it's coming from a place of like, I really don't understand, like I don't know what the issue was. And she wasn't coming from a place of hate. Like she really was confused because she couldn't understand why people were saying stuff about white people, why she felt like she was being attacked as a white person. And I finally made a comment on her post, and she inboxed me, and I basically told her, I said, the issue is exactly what you said, Ernesto. America is segregated. We are not supposed to be segregated, but we are segregated. And if you know anything about North Carolina, and I gave her an example, I said, if you know anything about North Carolina, because she works for she works for a black college down here. That black college is in a black neighborhood. That black neighborhood is not the best of a neighborhood. And so I gave her an example. I said, if you go to that black neighborhood, you go into that neighborhood because you're working. As a white person, you would not just choose to go over to that neighborhood. If you were going over there, is going to be your last resort. I said, the same way, me as a Black woman, I don't go to certain counties in North Carolina. I don't go across the line. Why? Because I am a Black woman, and my words to her, and they will be harsh, my words to her were, I am not getting lynched by nobody. Because I know if I cross that line, there are not many people that look like me over there whatsoever. And I am tolerated. Not liked, not loved, but if I'm there, I'm tolerated. That's now in 2020. And I explained to her that we got to get to a point in a place where we don't just stay with our kind, because that's what it is. You won't never know if I'm a bad Black person, if I'm a mad Black person, if I'm an angry Black person, if you never come across that line. I won't never know if you're a good white person, if you're a bad white person, if you're a nice white person, if I never reach across that line. So from the first dialogue to this dialogue, to hear so many people say, I never really experienced it. I wanted to ask Dustin, when you were a kid and you were the only out of two white people, I mean, out of Black, like, what did you experience? Because even though we're talking about Black Lives Matter, we want to be treated as equals. We want to have the same right. How was it for you? Because even when you were getting treated and bullied bad, but when you walked out the door, if you not at home, the world didn't see you as a Black person. You got treated bad in your school. How was it?
Well, I don't want to upset anybody. I mean, that's not the point of us being here.
No, we're not upset. We're talking.
No. But what I say is, through my personal experience, it's my perspective of how it was as a kid. So I don't want to offend anybody, but if you're going to ask, I'm just going to bring it out.
Say it.
So in Michigan, it was literally me and two other white girls in this all African-American school. I also did have African-American friends. It was a few, and they treated me as if I wasn't white. But in that school, I was treated poorly. I mean, I have dyslexia, and I didn't find out until we moved out to California. So I tried fitting in. I tried just, you know what I mean? It's hard to explain. It just, because as a kid, you don't know anything about this, or I didn't. But I just tried to make what best it was where I lived. And I didn't hate anybody. I just had a lot of questions like, why? And it was hard because my mom couldn't even explain that to me. I just would go to school. I'd get made fun of. I mean, it was just like, I would just be like at my table trying to learn mathematics, and I'd be cut down for, I don't know, like if someone had a bad day and just took it out on me. But as a kid, like as an adult, I could see someone, and I still would get, like right now, I'd still get made, talk behind my back. But as an adult, I could see that, maybe this person had a bad day. Maybe they're going through a divorce. Maybe they got attacked and they're taking it out on me, or maybe they just don't know how to deal with it. But as a kid, it's hard, And when we moved out to California, now it's in reverse, because I did see that with a few African-American kids at the school I went to. That was now it's all white. And then there's a handful of African-American students, but I don't want to get into that. But as far as me growing up, it was hard, but I just dealt with it. I didn't understand it. I questioned it because I was a kid, because my 5-year-old daughter has questions like, why am I being bullied? Why am I? And that's just a kid. It's asking questions because it's just, the world is so big and unknown that you don't know how to react as a kid. But it made me who I was today. I mean, I have what she said, a rainbow, like not rainbow of family, but rainbow of friends who I cherish and I learn from. And it's all about learning. I'm always open about everything. And that's why I'm here. I might not say the right things. Hell, being dyslexic, I might have twisted some things I said. No, it's not that I'm trying to, it's just I'm trying to formulate and understand. And I want to make a difference. And that's why I'm doing this right now. But that's all I can say right now about me growing up in Michigan, which is opposite of California, which is now different in Arizona. I'm just seeing all these different worlds, and now I'm kind of formulating it. See, growing in 3 different states, I'm starting to wonder if it's where you live and that's how the racism is. I don't want to speculate or think that, but from going from Michigan to California to Arizona, I'm seeing a lot of how people are in these, I don't want to say cultures, but states. And it's interesting. So now my theory is it different in every state? So I'm guessing it is in Michigan, it is in California, it is in Arizona. I can't say any other state. And you guys are all over too. So I want to hear your guys' perspective of what's it like in your state. You know what I mean? I'm curious.
So Karen said, location matters, but the systematic racism is infiltrated into every single institution in every state.
Okay.
So location does matter. And it is treated different in each state. Because I can go to New York and it's a whole different ball game from if I'm down here in North Carolina.
Yeah.
You culture shock. Go ahead, Miss Tammy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in Memphis.
Okay.
So I'm in one of the hotbeds of a whole lot. But for me, I've experienced it past and present. And in the past, my school, even though it was predominantly white, it was in a predominantly black neighborhood and had been for years, but you might as well had to put a wooden gate all the way around the joke.
Yeah.
But going to school, I had to prove that I wasn't the stereotypical black girl from the neighborhood, that I did know, what life was. I got accused of cheating. I had parents of students in my school who wanted to know how a 12-year-old could have better grades than a graduating senior. People wanted to see my academic records. We had to actually hold my mom back from fighting in an academic awards banquet because the woman in front of us got tired of hearing my name.
Oh, man.
And as I got older, my father has worked in the computer industry since 1972. So I had no choice but to learn to be a tech person. No choice at all. And I will never forget the first time I submitted a typed report in school. I was actually told that I couldn't do that because nobody else in my class and nobody else in my grade could. And that if everybody couldn't do it, I couldn't do it, or I needed to let them use my computer. I was told that I couldn't wear my hair in certain styles because they were upset because their hair couldn't do it.
Do that.
That's not right.
I used to play volleyball. And I was a cheerleader. And she's saying she can't hear me.
No, we can hear you.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay.
We can hear
You
you.
just
Yeah,
you
you're
just keep
fine.
talking. We can hear you.
Okay. So during those trips going to different schools, I promised you it was always a game of 20 questions. Well, what is the green stuff in the jar? Talking about the old school Dax hair grease, which I wish they still sold today because the hair on my kid's head is tragic. But they would ask me, what they would ask me what hair grease was, what hair gel was, or how I got my hair in a French roll and it stayed that way, or why my ring curls never fell out, and how my hair was so straight when it took them days. I mean, just
These are the
different
questions.
things.
These are the questions.
I mean, seriously, it was 20 questions. Like for it was 20 questions. And every time I looked around. And even now, when I talk to some of the adults who were teachers at the school back then, I hear, "Oh, Tammy, it wasn't personal." How was being accused of cheating not personal? How was you being mad at me? Your daughter goes to the principal and says that I cursed her out and I've only been at school for 2 minutes. How is a $1,500 ring of mine that came up missing that was never found, and me being upset and y'all not handling it because an administrator's daughter was involved, not personal? So let me bring it up to now, and then I'll be done. I do a lot of public speaking, and some in the education sector. I went to an event. I'm always painfully early. I get there, I'm sitting in my car, going over my notes. Lady comes out of the building. She's talking on speakerphone, and she gets up to my car and she's talking to the lady hosting the event who was on her way. And she said, "Yeah, there's a black Dodge Avenger outside." She said, "Okay, that's gotta be Tammy." I was speaking. She says, "Wait a minute, you didn't tell me that we were expecting somebody black." So I had to phone a friend because she didn't know that I heard her. So I called a friend. I woosawed. I got out of the car. I unpacked my stuff. I walked up to the door. "Oh, you must be our speaker." I had to. My family was raised in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I had to pull that on back down, and I went in there. I gave my presentation. This lady had egg on her face the entire time. And when the main lady came in, she came in there and just hauled off as she was handing me my check for speaking for 2 days. Now, my level of petty might have sent me right on back out that door with my check because the banks were still open. But I chose to stand and speak still. Then they brought me back.
But you went through all of that, which is racism, but still you did it with grace. And the one thing that I can say is that most Black people endure this with grace. Like, there's no, I'm gonna come for you. I'm gonna call you out of your name. I'm gonna tell you you're an animal. You need to go back to where you came from. That, and we come from a place of grace, but we don't get the same when the rights feel like it's being taken away from racist white people. So since Tony came in late, Tony, I want you to address racism from a black man's perspective and what you're going through right now.
First of all, thank y'all for being patient. I'm finally here. Racism, I would say it can be white or black. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not taking sides or anything to that nature, but even today, with our experience, I work in Davidson County. So
that's the county I don't go to, y'all. I don't go to that county.
Yeah, you know, I work in Davidson County, and something that the young lady has stated, her story as far as how some white people would switch the game up on you, you know, once they find out who you really are or they find out your status. That's when they become friendly. I've experienced that so many times, especially where I work at now. With my job, it's pretty much like you have to pretty much work your way up. That's anywhere you go. But if you go to my job, you don't see anybody of color in high positions. And I raised the question. I already knew the answer. But recently, I even tell my wife, but
well, she on. Go ahead now. Okay. Whatever you about to say, just say it.
Okay, but you know, I think a day or two, I had told one of my supervisors. He helped me get my gun license. He's a trainer and stuff like that. And I'm concealed carry, all the good stuff. So I told him, and he got excited. You would thought it was Christmas, guys. And we went from talking about that to him talking about the protesting going on with Target and the protesting going on I-40. So, you know, I mean, he went on a rant. He went from that to start calling the people names, and one of the words he used was he used the word to describe these people as thugs. So I raised the question.
Thugs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I raised the question, and even not to him, but just I was talking to myself, because like you said, Cherie, as African Americans, we extend grace, because I could have went from 0 to 100 real quick, and plus I probably would have lost my job. So long story short, I asked myself, I was like, well, I hear this word thugs or thug, you know, a lot now, you know, and I don't know if we have any Trump supporters. I don't know. I'm sorry, but I didn't really start hearing it until he got in office. And mind you, about 80%, 85% of supporters of Trump. They work at my job. So I wanted to ask him, and I'm gonna pull him to the side one day, and I'm gonna ask him, what is his definition of a thug? Is it and let's be real, is the definition considered being a nigger? What is your definition of being a thug? Because last time I checked, it was all type of races out there marching and protesting. But he pinpoint out certain individuals, if you get what I'm saying. So that's what I'm dealing with working out of Davidson County. But at the same time, for me, I've been dealing with this stuff so much, it's hilarious to me. I just have to laugh it off. You know, I have to laugh it off. So that's just what I'm dealing with. Racism, like I said, it doesn't have any color. And also, it's something that's taught. My kids or anybody else, any white kid, Hispanic kid, whatever, you're not going to come out the womb just being a racist. This is a learned behavior. You're talking about a virus. This is a virus. And it needs to be dealt with.
So I want to ask both of the men, Ernesto and Dustin, like, what are your thoughts on what Tony just said? Like, from a man's perspective.
You want me to go first? You want to go first?
You go first, man. Go ahead.
All right. Wow. I honestly don't know what to think. I mean, I've been through a lot as a kid, to be honest. But I can say that our greatest weapon that we all possess are our emotions. And I mean, being almost 44 years old, I'm still trying to control some of that. And it's hard enough. I can't even watch the news. I can't. I can't. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to, you know, you make me feel sorry for me, but God, man, I'm trying to not use the wrong words either. There's so much stuff going on in the media that it's just mind-boggling. I hate what I'm seeing, and I don't like saying hate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an answer. It's just sad. And it's coming in the worst time because we're dealing with Corona. We're dealing with Floyd. And with Floyd, I don't want to get into this, but what that cop did was not okay. I don't care if Floyd was white, Asian, black, Hispanic. That's not okay. And that's not the only video I saw of different culture that's happened, that somebody died like that. It's man, it's just, I have to turn off the TV. So some of the stuff you're saying before this started, I don't know about. Like, I forgot what you said about, if you don't know this person, go research it. It's just
Candace Owens.
Right, exactly. But as soon as I saw that Floyd thing, I don't watch the news because I watch the videos, and I know I'm going into this now, and I don't want to, but
that's the reason why we're here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all wrong. It's all wrong from every perspective. And I'll give you an example. And this is a snapshot. So I'm not trying to pick on any color or any race. I saw the one where everybody was breaking the Target, right? So snapshot, I see all African-American breaking in Target, right? And I'm like, I took that same video, rewound it, played it in slow-mo, and there's a couple white Caucasian fathers with their kids run through the store, and they make it out like it's just one color. It's just mind-boggling. And the media, I hate. Again, I'm gonna say hate because I hate the media because they take. It's like a photography. Media is like photography. If you shoot at the wrong angle, it's a whole lot of bad. And I saw one on Facebook, which I don't want to say Facebook, but there's a meme of a lioness and she's holding her cub, but the same shot was taken, so you see one of her holding her cub by the neck, like how most felines do, and then the other picture, it looked like she was eating the cub. Like, that's how I see media. It's like they spin it and they get us all fighting, and I hate that. And I hate saying the word hate, but there's some things I have to say hate because we're all fighting, and it's not okay. And here's my 5-year-old daughter going, why is this happening? Why am I seeing this? And I can't tell her anything because I don't want to give her the wrong answer. I'm her dad. My job is to raise her right and have her treat every color the same. And that's my mission as a parent, treat everybody the same. Until that person just has hate, and then I consider that toxic, and then I just don't go in that direction anymore. It's just a bad time. It's a bad time right now. And having 2 kids, I'm trying to be as careful as I can. I mean, again, when we go out in public, I have to remind my daughter to say please and thank you. I get a lot of compliments to my daughter about her eyebrows and in different colors, you know, white, black, Hispanic. Your daughter's got beautiful eyebrows. And I have to tap my daughter Lizzie on the shoulder and go, what do you say to them? And she goes, oh, thank you. She's 5. I mean, I get it, but it's just it's like a repetitive thing. And I'm hoping when she's 18, she's gonna look at black, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, no different, just treating them the same. That's my mission. If I fail, then I don't want to be that parent that fails, and it sucks. I got to wake up and see this. And like I said, doing this panel, it makes me feel good. I mean, I'm not perfect. I never will be, but I'm going to try my damnedest to do the right thing. And I will fall and I will pick myself up. And that's how I discipline my daughter. I mean, I don't want to get too personal about my life, but
Yeah.
I discipline my daughter to her actions. So I mean, I talk, I spank, but in the end, I tell her why I did what I did. In the end, I always give her a hug and I say, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say I'm sorry because that's shown her that I am allowing, like, it's okay to do it. But I always explain, I hug, and I make her explain why she's upset because she's so young that, you know, I want her to explain herself, feel safe with me, and tell me, you know. So, I mean, that's just where I'm at in the moment. That's where I'm at.
Ernesto, do you have anything?
Yeah,
And then I'm going to hit you, Karen.
I have a couple of things real quick. The one thing is I have a friend who's white, and we happen to be talking about the news. And I happen to see the same clip.
That's awesome.
And I like went back and I was like, wait, we were both like, wait, what? Because I honestly don't watch the news. I don't watch the news at all. I just don't. It's like a lot of negativity. And you know what's funny? If it's important, I hear about it. There's like all this. I know all the stuff that's going on, and I don't watch the news. You're going to hear about it. If it's something that's going to come, like it's important, I'm going to hear about it. And I did the same thing with social media. Like I cut social media off, but I heard about it. You know, I heard all this stuff that we're talking about right now in this whole conversation. I've heard about, like a little bit after it happened. But so we seen this video clip. Same thing. I don't know if it was Target, but it was a store. So the reporter was talking about all the people going in. Yep, they were talking about one nationality. It was all as one nationality. And then this white person comes out. They were like, well, maybe they were getting done work. And we were both like, what?
Maybe they were getting what? Say that again.
Done work.
Wow.
So me and my friend were like, we were like, did you hear that? And I was like, wait, let me rewind it because I got DVR. I was like, let me see what she really said that. So I rewinded it, and she said, me and my friend were like, like I said, my friend's white. He was like, dude, really? She really just say that? He's like, come on now. They're all in the store doing, taking all the stuff. Like, really? So anyway, and then I seen another video, and there was people trying to, go into Target, and there was all people out there. There was black, Latin, white, trying to stop the people from going in. And they did this thing out here. They're like, look, don't try to do that. We got insurance. Like, don't risk your life because people are getting crazy. Like, we don't want you, like, we appreciate it. All the races, being like out there, stopping the people from coming in. But they didn't want like a fight to break out if like they wanted to go in the store, just, because that's how things were going. But I'm going to go back a little bit and talk about, and I'm not condoning violence. I'm just saying this, like, and when Colin Kaepernick talked about this years ago and made a statement, nothing happened. He did it he did it peacefully. Not everybody agreed with him. I was like, he's trying to make a point. Nobody said anything. And then, this all these events going on, then all of a sudden they protested, and people are upset, frustrated. And unfortunately, some people don't do it in grace. Like I said, I'm not condoning violence, but people were making points that this was already going on when Colin Kaepernick took a knee. And it was this whole big thing, and he got blackballed for it, and he's not in the league anymore. So I just, and now it's at this level. Like I said, I'm not condoning violence, but I'm like, people were trying to do it the right way, and now it's getting to like, something's got to give, and now we're at this point now. And I can't. Does anybody remember? I don't remember the year Colin Kaepernick did, but this was at least 5 years ago, right? Am I?
12.
Yeah.
2000, when?
2000, I think 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
look,
12.
we're 2020. So that's just, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, I just feel bad for like people that have to deal with the race. Like it bothers me because it like that happened to my friend in the 7th grade. I'm 42 years young, about to be 42 years young. That had me boiling. And I was like, that happened like there ain't nothing we could do about it. That was in the past. I mean, we could change, we can only change the present. But I was like, what? But I just wanted to just, add that comment in because we were, that happened in the past. We're trying to make change. And now we're at this point where people are looking at stuff that like is going on now. They're like, oh, why is this happening? I'm like, it's trying to tell you like 2012 when this came up back then. And even I didn't realize like all Pat Poops, who's a rapper, did a rap. And he was talking about all these. He went from like, I think A to Z. So I was like, what? I had no clue. But went through all these people that got killed and all these police like getting arrested and all this. He was going through the whole story. If you look it up, it's just I was just mind-boggling. I couldn't believe it. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I appreciate you letting me share.
I got a question because I noticed that you all seen the videos and you said you rewinded it back and you seen the slow motion of the white people, but have you seen the videos and the pictures of, especially when it first started, not being a black person to break the first window? It's actually a white person.
Yeah.
Definitely.
In the mist, like planted in the mist to incite, to make it go.
And bricks planted, like crates of bricks put in cities. What is that?
Yeah.
Peaceful protest.
Or like the one
doing that.
Yeah, or like the one that I saw where the young lady was doing a Facebook Live, and there were all the graffiti that was being put up was two hooded white girls that were running up to the buildings and spray painting Black Lives Matter, and it was the black people trying to get them to stop. She was like, y'all need to stop because they're gonna blame that on us.
Yeah.
Karen, can you chime in?
Thank y'all. Everything that y'all are saying is really powerful. For me, it's hard to know where to start, but Amy Cooper did it for me. I mean, when I heard about Amy Cooper and what she did, I just lost my mind. It was before.
Who was Amy Cooper?
She's the sweetheart that choked her dog while she was calling 911 on a man in Central Park for asking her to put a leash on her dog, which she's supposed to legally do anyway. And her behavior, and I watched that tape. I watched that from beginning to end, and the fact that she weaponized her privilege, and that scared me. That was really obnoxious, and it put me in a really strange place because she looked like me. You know, she very similar features to me. And then you find out that I don't know if this was true or not, but apparently she voted for Obama and even donated to his campaign. And like, where is the disconnect? What makes a person weaponize their privilege? And that's exactly what she did. And it was horrifying to me to watch that. And I was already kind of in a mode. And so 24 hours later, you know, when George Floyd was killed, I just went into a really dark place because my son is mixed, and I'm scared to death of a lot of things that he's going to have to experience and things that he's already experienced. He actually attended school in Davidson County when we first moved to this area. Location does matter, I think, because I moved from Boston to Raleigh. Well, from Greensboro to Boston to Raleigh to Clemens. And my son's school, he ended up in Davidson County. We thought he was going to be in Forsyth, but at the last minute, it was Davidson, and I was mortified. And my parents were like, "What's wrong with you? You know, why are you so worried about this?" And it was because I knew Davidson County, and I knew Lexington, and my eyes were not closed to these things. I knew where I was living, and I knew where I was going, and I knew the further west my son went, the more likely he was to experience racism. And I was told, if you look for it, Karen, you're going to find it. If you look for racism, you'll find it. And that pisses me off more than anything because I don't have to look for it. It's everywhere.
It's there.
And my son, I mean, the very first day dropping him off at the bus stop to go to that county, a woman asked me if he was a foster child or if he was adopted. And for the first time, you know, my son went to a very diverse school in Raleigh. All of a sudden, kids are going up to him asking him, "What are you?" And he's saying, "What do you mean? What am I? Are you black or white?" And he said, "I'm mixed. I'm both." And the kids would say, "Nah, you're black." And he would come home and say to me, "Mommy, why are people asking me what I am?" He didn't even know what it meant at first. Like, what do they mean, what am I? And I mean, a lot of us have talked about our kids. You know, you hear those things coming out of your child's mouth. I think he was 7 at the time. And I hurt for him. And I hurt for all those kids in that school. And I hurt for all the kids in the areas that are, you know, I took my son out of that school, and I have mixed feelings about it because I feel like, well, why didn't I stay and make a difference? And why didn't I stay and get more involved in the school and push and make them change? My son and I were going through a really hard time at that time, and I had to make a personal choice. And, you know, I hear a lot of struggle with watching the news and wanting to turn the news off. And I don't watch the news either. I don't watch the mainstream news. I think it depends on what news we watch. And mainstream media, there's a reason that this is all news to some people, and it's news to more people than it should be. There's a reason that we aren't told these things, because everybody wants us to believe that it's better. I feel like, at least from my perspective, I literally just had lunch with my father today, and he was explaining that, Karen, it's so much better than it used to be. And I've had to learn to appreciate the generational divide in that statement. You know, my dad really does think it's better, because in his time, it was so much worse. And I had a really hard time telling him it's not better to me. It's not at all. I don't see that, because I wasn't around when, you know, what's happening today is just as horrifying as what was happening when you were my age.
The difference between now and then is the fact that then it was more visual.
Yeah.
Now it is hidden.
Yes.
Hidden agendas are something.
Oh, yeah.
So now that it's coming to the forefront, we don't like it. America don't like it. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good for anybody that you're able to actually see it, because then you seen them putting the holes out on people. But now the whole world is seeing, oh, America's not this great land of the free that they say they are. We're not free. Now, I get the generational divide, because I got some redneck white friends that's older, and we like each other, and we agree to disagree on some things.
Yeah.
Because that's the era that they grew up in. But they never will take the time to come out of that era and to put themselves into where we are now. But a point that I want to talk about, because I heard Dustin say having a conversation with his daughter. I heard Ernesto say, you know, talking to his children. You talking to your son, and you have to come, you're a white woman, but have to come from a whole different angle, because he's a biracial child. And because he's black, he will never be seen as white. He will be seen as black. It's hard for parents, and this is my opinion, for parents that have full-blooded, have white children, to explain, because first, they really don't want, it's hard for them to discuss it. They don't want to discuss it. They're struggling with it, because is it bad? Is it good? Do I talk to them about it? I don't want to damage them. I don't want to make them hate their people. I don't want them to hate nobody else. But the truth is, being a black mother of biracial children, because mine are Hispanic and black, you have to have the conversation. When my 10-year-old seen the video and I hadn't seen the video, and he was screaming and crying, I had to have the conversation. And we don't want to strip our children from the innocence, but that's a lot of the reason why we're here today, because we have decided that we were going to sweep stuff up under the rug. And now we got to get to a place where we're in the place of healing. We can't sweep stuff under the rug anymore. And the only way we can teach the generations that's coming up is by addressing the issue. When we don't talk about the issue, when we kind of sugarcoat it and walk on it, then it's worse. The one thing that I have learned at my 35 years in life, and especially dealing with addressing issues, is that I'd rather my children hear it come out of this mouth than my children get it from somebody else's mouth.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they get it from somebody else's mouth, it's tainted with their beliefs. I had to explain to my 10-year-old that just because you've seen a white man put his knee on a black man's neck, it doesn't mean that every cop is bad. I had to still tell him all in the same breath that you have the right to be mad, to be upset, to be sad, but you don't have the right to stay there. Now, ask me why I told him he can't stay there. Because if he stayed there, then he hardens his heart. Then the cycle of hate, racism, prejudice keeps going. So we've talked about the racism, how we've experienced, if we didn't experience when we were younger, when we were older, we've talked about it. So what do we do now as an individual? Before we close this out, because we had 1 hour and 15 minutes, and I promise y'all we ain't going 2 hours. What do we do now? And I want each one of my panelists to answer this. What do we do now as America, within your own community, within your own household, within your own environment, to help make this go away? And I'm not saying make it go away, suppress it. I mean, make it to where it's no longer systematic. We all have equal rights. We all are communicating, whether we agree or don't agree. But we're doing it in a way to where we're not belittling and somebody saying, I'm superior than you. Because truth be told, if you're not a white man, you start knocking on that totem pole. You can be a white woman, but you beneath them. And you keep knocking down. So the further away you get from white in America, you go down that totem pole. So how do we address that issue? How do we heal from here? What do we do? Let's go with Miss Tammy first.
First of all, one of the things that I tell my oldest daughter is that one thing that we're not going to do is hide our God-given brilliance. And I tell her all the time, you have to show them that you're different. And that's what we're going to do. Even if they don't like it, even if they speak against it, even if they don't understand it, you keep going. Because at the end of the day, it's not about them. They don't have to give an account for your life. You give the account for your life. So I tell her, and I try to model it myself, you continue to intentionally and consistently strive for and work in excellence, because excellence is something you can't argue with.
Agree. Ernesto?
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome what you said, Tammy. That's great because I mean, it's the same way. I mean, I just tell my daughter just do the right thing. You know, that's one thing. I kind of not to steal what you're saying, but it's true. Like every day, I just said live the the best life you could live. Like just lead by excellence. And if somebody comes at you and disrespect you because of who she is, just take the higher road. I mean, it's I'm not saying, if somebody's coming, getting your feet, like you don't want to start any problem, but take the higher road, like because you know what, they obviously don't see the greatness within you. So because she's we all have greatness within us. Just some people don't see that. And I just feel you got to take the high road. Tell my daughter, like I said in the beginning, we all breathe the same air, bleed the same blood, even though we might have different color skin. We all that's what makes the world go around. All the different colors and backgrounds. Like imagine we were all the same color, same, whatever, even religion, anything like that. It makes us all different, makes us unique, it makes us special, makes us great. And so I just, tell her like, just treat everybody with respect. Don't disrespect anybody. If somebody disrespects you, then just don't deal with them. Just move on and just be the better person. Because my daughter, I'll say one thing, she's great. I mean, like in that sense, she wanted to go out there and they went out there and she was with her signs and everything like last week. And I told her I thought that was awesome. I thought that was great that she went and did that. And she understands already. My daughter's 16, so she knows. She has all kind of friends, white, black, every race. So my daughter has a melting pot of friends. So I mean that's one good thing. And even though me and her mom ain't together, that's another thing. Me and her mom are not together. We raise our daughter right, and that's the best thing. That's my advice to any parent. Just do the best you could do, and your daughter will follow your footsteps. If you're doing the right thing, the apple won't fall far from the tree. So, and they'll follow your footsteps. If you're doing the wrong thing, eventually they're gonna be the wrong thing. Just like they say, you hang around 10 bums, you're gonna be number 11. So we don't want our kids to follow that motto. We want us to be, striving on excellence. So we're the 10 excellent people. There's gonna be more and more of them following down the road. So
that's good. That's good. And that's so. Tony.
I agree with Tammy and Nesto. I can say so much right now, but I'm gonna keep it short. I would say that what we're dealing with is far beyond race. It's more of on a spiritual level. You're talking about years upon years of this stuff going on. As I stated earlier, racism is something taught. You know what I'm saying? You have somebody, a newborn or a toddler, who's constantly around somebody with type of character, he or she is going to pick that spirit up.
Mhm.
And if it's not dealt with as that person gets older, it's going to get worse. You understand what I'm saying? So it's more on the spiritual level than a natural level per se. I would say this also, because they thank God for Netflix and all these other places that's been putting out a lot of
All
these
of this, yeah.
movies and documentaries, everything to that nature. It even pushed me to really research on some things as well. But I would say also, besides the spiritual level, educate your kids, educate yourself. Something that Cherie has stated that made me think about the school system. The school system is a joke.
Yes.
Say it
I
one more
would
time for
love
the folk
to talk
in the cheap
Yes.
seats.
for the people in the church. The school
I think that's why
system.
Miss Tammy homeschooled.
And Miss
From
Tammy,
day one.
I would say, listen, I would say because they gave all kids in the school system computers and stuff like that. My son, my daughter, both of them, their grades went from here to here.
Mine did the same thing.
Okay, so we on the same page. So you know what I'm saying? And then we've been spending time with our kids. I mean, some people have it, some parents have it in shame. But you know, we'll break it down. And none against the teachers. My mom's a teacher. Okay, my mom's a teacher for years. But with the teachers today, and I think Giselle is on here too, but she can agree. A lot of the teachers today, they don't have the heart that the teachers we had back then.
Yeah.
They don't. And then again,
There's a lot behind that too.
exactly. I know what you're talking about. So, you know what I'm saying, with us spending time with our kids, you know, them being out of school and stuff like that, we're teaching about Black history. We're teaching about history, period. You know, not just Black history. You know, and my son as well, Cherie, he asked a couple all the time, like, well, why did they kill this Black guy? Or, you know, why did they arrest him? Or why are they burning down the Target? Or these are conversations, like you said, that needs to be talked about. You have to talk about and address the elephant in the room.
You got to.
And for years, our own parents, and I got on my mom as well.
They didn't.
I'm just saying, like our own parents, like there are secretive stuff that has been taking place in our own family that we just now found out about. Why wait until now to tell us? Kill it while you got a chance. You understand what I'm saying? So, like I said, I can continue on and on. There's so much I would say, but something and Cherie, I'm gonna have Cherie on the line that I'm gonna do. But I've been making moves behind the scenes. I haven't really been talking about anything with Impact Worship or whatnot. But I've been reaching out to our chief, the chef department. Been talking to him.
Kimbrough, I share.
Kimbrough. I'm going to push to talk to the chief of police,
Katrina.
Sit down and talk with her. It's one thing you talk about it. It's another thing you put into action.
Put action to it.
And the thing is, I love the marching. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But the march is no good if you ain't putting in the work.
We had 5 minutes.
Oh,
and
okay.
I agree with you.
Okay.
Come on, Dustin.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Because we about to be 1 hour and 30 minutes, and we stopping at 1 hour and 30 minutes. I promise you. Come on, Dustin.
Okay, so I have a son. He's gonna break 1 in July, but my daughter, you know, again, she's 5. So a lot of things that we're talking about here and right now, it's I feel as a parent, it's sensitive to her because she's 5.
She's still young. You have to be
right
a little bit more
right
grounded when you discussing it with her.
So I don't want to crush her world that's filled with Coca-Cola and ice cream and Bugs Bunny cartoons. But, you know, like I said, when we're in the store, she has a tendency to hug everybody. Doesn't matter the color. And I encourage it. I encourage it. There are a couple times where people were a little awkward about it, but I mean, I addressed it with that adult, with my daughter, with my wife, and just letting that person know, whether it be whatever color, you know, I just tell them, like, you know, my 5-year-old daughter loves everybody, and I think she's setting a good example. And again, I can't show you guys a picture right now, but she looks like just blonde hair, dimples, green eyes, you know, just a little angel. But I always, because of her age, she'll get compliments for her eyebrows, the way she looks. And regarding the color of where that comes from to her, I always make my daughter say thank you, give him a hug, and she'll do it. So, I mean, most of the time she'll do it without even me having the reminder, but I want her to get, I mean, she's young. I want her to get in that everyone's equal. Everybody's the same color. Because, I mean, it starts with the youth. I mean, I'm in education. I've been in education for almost 15 years, and I have to say it sucks. It sucks. I feel working high school, middle school, elementary school, everything's one-sided. In my opinion, I can't say that for states I haven't been in or worked in or school districts, but the ones that have been, they're one-sided. California, I feel, is one of them. And we had a discussion about the new math that came into the system, and they said, well, we can't teach high school. We can't teach the middle school. We have to start at elementary school. And then it's just pretty much and I'm not going to say which district, but it's pretty much like, let middle school and high school fend for themselves. We can't teach them, and we have to. So I'm thinking, okay, I get the perspective, but now if we're talking racism and how do we teach that, I think it'd be a good idea, which I don't know if it's going to happen right now. I mean, I wish we can do it right now, but I think, in my opinion, it'd be good to start with the kinders, the young ones in elementary.
Yeah.
Then if you teach them a little bit every year, because like I said, I've been middle and I've been high school. They don't care what you tell them. They're in their own mindset, their own trends, or TikTok, Facebook, social media. They're gone. They just want to whatever. But elementary, kinder, and possibly up to 4th grade, we can catch them and we can teach them. But the system's going to have to be willing to teach this to them. Because if we start with kinder now, I mean, think about this. We start with kinder with this board panel about what we're trying to do and trying to change. If we start with kinder, it's going to take 18 years to make a difference. In my opinion, I could be wrong. I'm not perfect and I'm not smart. Far from it. But that's how I see it. But we can make a change. I mean, doing something is better than nothing, you know? I'm sick of the color fights. I'm sick of the cards being pulled. I don't understand why it's happening. I'm not saying it's nobody's fault, but it's got to end. Something's got to happen. It's just getting worse. Through what I see in my perspective, in my world, when I wake up every day, what I see, it sucks. And I hope this will change. It's not going to change tomorrow, but I want it to change. I need it to change for our kids, all of our kids, not just my own, but all of them. Yeah. I want people to go to school and be safe. I want kids to come home with different ethnic friends. I mean, it is happening now. But I'm sorry. I better close it out. But that's what I hope for. I hope for all colors and all people to come together.
If you don't go to church, that's the church finger.
Right. So I picked up on that.
That's the church finger.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah,
it's all right. Go ahead, Lord, Karen.
I'll be quick. I think, you know, what I hear is a lot of struggle of, you just want to turn off the news and turn it off. And it's so overwhelming, you know, and it's so sad, and you just want to turn it off. And what we have to understand is that not everybody can do that. And we have to go beyond the march. We have to do the internal work so that we can do the external work. There's a lot of people not doing internal work right now. There's a lot of people angry. There's a lot of people feeling attacked. There's a lot of white people saying, I don't have to apologize for being white. Nobody's asking you to apologize for being white.
I'm not asking you to apologize.
So crazy? Is it so crazy for us to maybe take responsibility in some way for our ancestors' actions? Is that so bad that we say, okay, it was my ancestors, you know, that straight up, that is what it is. So that wasn't me, it wasn't my decision, but it was my ancestors. And so I can help clean it up on behalf of them because they're not here. I don't feel attacked at all. And I have a lot of people that are feeling attacked. And I agree with you. I think that kind of thing has to stop. I think it is a resistance to accept truths that are hard to accept. People do not like to accept hard truths, ugly things within us. We do not like to do that. And I think this is traumatizing. What you're seeing on the news is traumatizing. So turn it off. Read articles.
Yeah.
You can read more facts and more truth than you can watch. Just be very selective about what you watch. That's my last word.
I will piggyback on that, and then we're gonna close it out. That is truth. It is hard for people to watch what may be the elephant in the room. It's hard for people to say, you know what, this is wrong, this is bad, this is dirty. I accept it. I don't want no white person to apologize to me for what happened in slavery days, because you wasn't the person who done it. All I want is to be able to walk in the bank and get along just like you get along. All I want to do is to be able to walk in the store and not be followed around the store and looked at like I'm crazy when I enter the store. All I want is to be able to go to my job, get a promotion, and not have to worry about, are you promoting me because you're trying to hit your statistics? Or are you promoting me because I'm educated and I know what I'm doing? So those are the type of things that I want to be equal. So I'm not asking for no white person to apologize to me, because you don't need to apologize to me. I just want equal rights. That's all I want. Listen, this has been a pleasure to speak to all of you. This was awesome. I love having every perspective. And what I want to say to you, Ernesto, I don't know if you ever been to North Carolina, but if you come to North Carolina with us, you know, you're going to be seen as a black person, right? Yeah, they're gonna treat you. They're gonna treat you like you black.
I heard.
Yeah.
Same here.
You one of my brothers. They're gonna treat you like you black. Y'all all my brothers, whether you're white, black, Hispanic. I don't care. Everybody my brother and sister. But anyway, listen, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for all of us for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you. A big shout out to Janisha, who actually pulled majority of my panel together. Well, she pulled all my panel together. She was very quiet on the first one, but was a hidden beast in the background and just messed. I got this person. I got this person. I got this person. So y'all didn't know me, but you accepted it. And somebody, one of your friends, is listening to it, and now they're exploring their inner. Go to BeTheBridge.com if you want to learn how to be a bridge builder, how to encounter racism, how to address racism, and get better at it. So I love you all to life. You all have a great weekend. I want to say happy Father's Day to each and every one of you.
Thank you. Thank you very
love
much.
y'all. Y'all don't get the attention that we get on Mother's Day, but I promise y'all all special in my heart. Y'all all special in my heart. So happy Father's Day to y'all.
Thank you.
Happy Juneteenth. This is our Freedom Day. 4th of July, but this is our Freedom Day. So happy Juneteenth to all, to everybody. Godspeed. Blessings to you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good one, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.